In today's journey, we will be taking a brewer's eye view on microscopes. Specifically, we will be covering the different parts on different models and what makes what better for what brewer. If you're a professional brewer, you will find this video helpful in deciding on what microscope will work best for you. If you're a home brewer, this lets you know what professional brewers have to put up with. Like the owner trying to make you use the cheapest equipment possible. Microscopes are a buy once, cry once situation. And let me tell you from experience, it's easy to buy the bad microscope. We'll go over what makes each one of these terrible later. But for now, let's go over what makes a good microscope good and how to pick one that works best for you. This can be kind of tricky, as a lot of microscopes are good enough, as even a toy microscope can do a yeast cell count. But that's like French frying when you meant a pizza, and that's just not going to lead you to a good time. But if you consider a microscope's light management system, whether it has a mechanical stage, its objective lenses, number of ocular ports, and the type of ocular lenses that the microscope comes with. Don't worry, this may seem overwhelming at first, but a lot of these are as simple as, yes, you would like the microscope to have a nose piece, as that's what the objective lenses will connect to. But let's start with the most boring part, the light management system. This is where the light is both generated and shaped for your viewing pleasure. For the average brewer, an LED light source is fine. There are other options, but that's not going to be the make or break feature on a microscope for a brewer. However, if you would like to get a cheaper microscope and only going to do yeast cell counts, a bright field microscope is more than enough for what you need. However, if you intend to perform any gram staining, then you will want a condenser. This will allow you to focus the light and allow you to control the contrast versus resolution you're viewing. Or you can think of it more as it gives you more depth of field at the cost of light illumination. A condenser can also be used as an indicator of quality for the microscope. For example, if it has a condenser, it probably has better lenses and a mechanical stage. And we'll use that as a segue to talk about the mechanical stage. It's a great way to drive around from place to place on what you're viewing, such as a hemocytometer. You'll want to be able to go from this square, where you count yeast cells, all the way down to this square, where you count more yeast cells, followed by going to all of these squares to count yeast cells. Sure, it's doable to do it without a mechanical stage. I've done it. Like I said, I've done it with a toy. That doesn't mean it was a good experience, and not one that I would want to pay an employee to do. Keep that in mind. Time is money. That's not just an expression, that is a fact of life, unless your time is worthless. Alright, we're already 2 out of 5 done. Let's see if we can keep this pace up. Ocular ports. This is an easy one, as you're just deciding how many eyeballs you want to be able to see your subject at once. Either 1, 2, or 3. No joke. It really comes down to if you want to be able to have enough, because you just need one eye to see what's going on if you're doing a cell count. 2 is nice, it's less fatigue, as using a monocular for a long period of time can lead to headaches. And 3, well, that's just more room for activities. For example, you could put a different eyepiece up there, or you could put the same one and have a second viewer. Very useful in an educational environment. However, as a brewer, a more useful use would be for a camera. And this not only provides a more convenient way of viewing your subject by viewing it on a screen instead of through the eyepieces, but also it allows you to take pictures that you can then put through a program to do the cell counting for you. Don't forget to check the links and resources in the description. However, if you decide not to use the extra ports, what you're doing is wasting light. This isn't usually a problem on higher end microscopes, but it can be at extreme magnifications. And do note that you don't need a triocular to use a camera, as it can be imported to any of the ocular ports, including these ones. I just wouldn't recommend it if you have a heavy camera. And if you're feeling a little bored, that's because we front loaded with the boring parts. These are parts that the microscopes will either have or not have. Whereas these next parts, the microscope will have. They just may be of dubious quality if not investigated properly. With the ocular lenses being one of the most dubious parts that are often misleading when it comes to what a microscope can and can't do. Or that's what the marketing would have you believe. 9 times out of 10, you just want a 10x. But let's take a closer look to see what's actually going on here. Commonly, they will sell a microscope with both a 10x and a 20x, and then in the marketing say that it has twice the magnification power. But that's not how this works. The way I like to view it is that the objective lens makes the image, but the ocular lens prepares it for your eye. It alters the image that already exists. It can't make it bigger. It can only stretch it out or shrink it down. So despite the number of eyepieces a microscope may include to make you feel fancy and getting a bargain, you're 9 times out of 10 just going to use the 10x lens. Because if you use a 25x ocular lens, you're just doing this. Now it's true. Both now look the same size. However, one clearly has higher resolution because I used the appropriate lens on my camera to take the image. So just keep in mind, the right tool for the right job. And a 10x ocular lens is the right tool, at least when it comes to brewing. If you use a microscope with a different ocular lens, tell us what for in the comments. But now that we have your watch time logged, let's talk about the most important part to pay attention to when buying a microscope. Those are the objective lenses. These don't just create the image, but determine the amount of resolution you'll be able to view it. And this can be really hard to judge when buying a microscope online, as a lot of suppliers will supply fake images of what their microscopes can do. Like this toy microscope with plastic lenses are claiming you can see this clearly and bright? No. It's comical. Just like, what is an original UV lens? And luckily there's an anti-UV radiation layer. What would we do without that? You know, all that UV radiation that's emitted by its LED light that's powered by a 3-volt battery. I was going to give that toy microscope to my niece when I was done with it as a prop, but it's so bad, I don't even want to do that. It would make her hate science. But don't worry, I have a surefire way to help you find good lenses when shopping on Amazon. These are the 3 common types of lenses that I have seen when buying microscopes. The one all the way to the right is of course my high-end one from my good microscope. In the middle we have the cheap microscope that was about $60 off Amazon, and then last but not least is the plastic lens from my toy microscope. I'm sure you can already tell a theme between the good lenses and the bad lenses. And look, it's even more adorable when you put it next to my tiny 4x lens. Why is the 4x lens the same size as a 40x lens? And the secret is physics. Not only does the smaller lens be cheaper because smaller, but it also makes the rest of the microscope cheaper because that too can be smaller. Even the microscope's nose can be smaller to accommodate. Sure, these cheaper microscopes will work, but they come at a cost of quality, and it can be hard to judge what you're actually getting online from just a picture. But I do believe that the industry left us a sign of how to tell the difference between a good lens and a crap lens, and it's all down to these numbers. They mean stuff, don't you know? Like, you know this one. It's 40x. It may be upside down, but you can read. However, you look at the other lenses and realize it's got a bunch of extra numbers. So many numbers, in fact, that it doesn't even have room for the X anymore. The X of which is supposed to be on the eyepiece. Telling. And we won't dwell on it, but these numbers refer to the magnification, numerical aperture, which is the amount of light it'll let in, the optical tube length. This is how far the tube needs to be to focus properly. All of your lenses should be the same. The cover slip thickness. This is the thickness that's recommended for the cover slip for proper focusing. Because we're living in the future where most of this is standardized, most of this is moot for the average brewer. But just the fact that these numbers are listed indicates it's a higher quality microscope. And it also doesn't mean that these lenses can't do the job. This lens is smaller. In fact, it fits on the toy microscope. They're the same threads. The worst part about getting a lens like this, though, for your microscope is that you can't change them out for other lenses in the future. Say you want to get plain lenses so that you can use a camera better. Maybe your assistant brewer didn't follow SOP and damaged the lenses. Maybe you want to just use a different objective lens that didn't come standard with your microscope. And speaking of the standard lenses, let's introduce them. You have the 4, the 10, the 40, and the 100. However, you don't always get the 100, but you only need that if you intend to do a gram stain test. This is because that's the magnification you'd need to see lactobacillus or pediococcus. Because infections don't just happen, they happen because there's bacteria, and you can see bacteria with a 100x lens. And that's cool and all, it's pretty cool, but most brewers will probably only ever need the 10 and 40. We can tell this because you only need 100 and 400x magnification to do both parts of the cell counting procedure, as stated by most SOPs for doing cell counts. However, a 4x lens can be nice for walking around. But you may have noticed I've mentioned other lenses, so let's take a roll call of all the lenses. 10x. We're going to use this for phase 1 of the yeast cell count. That is where we will get a general sense of the yeast health by looking at the hemocytometer as a whole and seeing how clumped together our samples are. Up next is its partner in crime, the 40x. This is the lens that's going to give you the optimal magnification for performing the actual cell counting. From this magnification, we'll be able to tell if a cell is abutting or just really close to another cell. The 4x is mostly your navigational lens. You're not really going to use this that often to view a subject, but it's great for falling back to if you find yourself lost while looking for your subject. Some people also like walking up from the lower magnifications to your final destination, but with a little experience, you'll often find yourself just jumping straight to the 10 anyways. And not to dwell on reminding you, but the 100 is used for the gram scale or identifying bacteria. Bacterium? I guess it depends on your level of infection. So on to the specialty lenses. This 20x is used for my camera, as certain camera sensors have to deal with different crop factors. When using a 20x lens, it's about the same as a 40x to the naked eye. If you are going to use a camera, I highly recommend getting one, specifically in a plane model. That is a style of lens specifically for use with a camera. It helps maintain an even focus from center to edge. However, they are more expensive, hence why we don't have any. If you'd like to contribute to our lens fund, check out our Ko-fi link in the description, because we already wasted our money on this 60, which is used for seeing if bacteria is present, but not good enough to be able to identify which type it is. Honestly, I got it on another YouTuber's recommendation, and I don't recommend it so far, but maybe my mind will change later. The benefit is supposed to be that you can see the bacteria without using oil. However, if I want to see the bacteria, I probably just want to use the 100x anyways, even if it means getting the immersion oil out. But on to the penultimate topic, cameras. Not only do they allow a more relaxed viewing experience, as you can turn almost any microscope into a digital microscope with these, but it also means that you can start to include your cell counting images in your beer library archive. This can be extremely helpful for people that are in the industry of making sour beers deliberately. But we have two options. You can attach a DSLR, which is tempting because some people may have some laying around, but you have to either attach it directly, which is a bad idea, or invest in an actual adapter with a lens in it that allows focusing to happen better and to compensate for the crop factor. We prefer to go with an industrial microscope camera, which is a purpose-built camera for attaching to microscopes. Its crop factor is a bit more extreme, but does get a much clearer image, especially when it's just a drop-in. We barely did anything to get this image quality, whereas a DSLR will take more finicky tinkering to get to work appropriately. And oddly, having a smaller sensor means it'll be easier to get away with not having plain lenses to present a better image for the camera to read. But since it is a camera, let's take a look inside. And for anyone who has experience using a hemocytometer at 40x, you'd know you should be able to see a lot more than what we're seeing now. We're barely even getting the 5x5 in. And when we switch over to the DSLR, we can definitely see a lot more, but even then, that's 40x, we should be able to see everything. This is that crop factor I mentioned. The camera is unable to see the entire image that's being presented by the microscope. If this is a problem for you, then what you need is a full-frame DSLR camera, and that will be able to see the entire screen. Unfortunately, we don't own a full-frame camera, but you don't really need one, unless you know you need one. Like you're taking pictures for science textbooks, or making images to sell microscopes on Amazon. But let's take this to the next level, 100 magnification, where we should be using this as a way to judge overall health of the entire plate. But because of the crop factor, we're too close. But we can see the resolution is right, as in the yeast cells are the proper size and readable, but we're just not seeing the full picture. And when we go to the 400x, things are getting better. I mean, I like what I'm seeing with these yeast cells, but I'm just not seeing enough of a window to accurately do a yeast cell count. When we switch over to the DSLR at the same magnification, we are seeing enough though. And if we took the time to properly calibrate the microscope to use our DSLR, this picture would be a lot sharper. However, we're going to instead put on a 20x lens and take a look at that instead. And as you can see, the yeast cells are a little small, but this is plenty enough to do a yeast count, especially if you're using software to do the heavy lifting. So what am I looking for in a microscope? Well, a nose piece is nice. But other than that, I do enjoy a condenser so that I have more control over my light. A mechanical stage is a must, as moving the hemocytometer around by hand is a big pain. Plus you'll spend a lot more time focusing and refocusing. I would even say that this is more important than high quality lenses if all you're doing is the cell count. But since I'm a technology junkie, upgradable lenses is a huge plus for me, especially since I want to be able to use custom ones for my camera. And since I want to be able to show with you guys what's going on inside the microscope, having a triocular microscope was important to me. That means it has 3 ocular ports. View and comfort, while being able to record what I see. And then finally, just a 10x ocular lens. I don't need a 20 or a 25 because they're not needed here. And you know what? At $300, this microscope is more than what most people will need. Does everything, but do you need it to do everything? And personally, it feels a bit like a waste to me sometimes because my first microscope was so good to being perfect anyways. Other than the lenses needed cleaning, there's no mechanical stage, and the focus knob needs some oil. Technically, those are all fixable. Its biggest sin is that it doesn't have a condenser. And since you can think of microscopes as a master technology, they don't get much better really, so old microscopes are usually just as good as modern ones. In fact, old Zeiss lenses are still considered some of the best lenses available. Hey, I got it for $60 off eBay, and, that's a great price. However, if you think about it from the perspective of, that's $60 I could have put towards a better microscope, though, too. But this is the one that broke my heart, because at $80, this microscope should have been everything I needed and nothing extra. So it's got the bright field, mechanical stage, 2 ocular ports, and a 10x ocular lens. Everything we need. And you know what? The lenses aren't the greatest, but they were fine. They were fine. The problem is, for some reason, miss this in the description, there's an extra 2x magnification on this head unit. So this math right now is 4 times 10 times an extra 2, meaning its lowest magnification is 80. Except for, it's not a real 80, because that's not an increase in magnification, it's more of a zoom. We've zoomed into a pre-existing image. And in order to get a 400 magnification, you need to use a 10x with a 20 ocular lens. It equals 400, but we know it's not going to look that good due to a lack of resolution. But if you want to know how to spot a scam microscope like this, is look at what its range of magnification is. It shouldn't start at 80, and it shouldn't go up to 1600 either. That's ridiculous. So yeah, this Amazon microscope was a scam, but that doesn't mean that all of them are. We will put a link in the description for one that we think is a good microscope for about $70 to $100, and if we get one on hand, we'll put another link in the description so that you can watch a video about it. And it's just super heartbreaking in the end, really, because it means they could have made a microscope perfect for brewers at a good price point. They just chose not to. But if you've made it this far, hopefully you'll choose to like and comment, let us know what you think about microscopes, and check out some of our other videos, because it's the best way to support us and let YouTube know that other people would like to see our videos. But as always, happy brewing.